Hey everyone, Papercut here, back with another build order. This time we're going to do one of my favorite little builds that I created for Japan, which is a Dark Age Samurai Rush. Now, I created this build when I was playing a lot of Japan because I felt like at times there were some matchups with Japan where the eco wasn't strong enough to maintain, and I couldn't get out units fast enough, and I didn't want to just have fast castle as my only option. And I feel like this is a good way to slow down your opponent and give you a little bit of a head start in Feudal. This Dark Age Samurai Rush, you can use to either go fast castle behind it or do a Feudal all-in. So after I show you the build order, I'm going to show you a game I played with a member of my Discord where I did a Feudal all-in, but I can also explain when I would generally do a fast castle instead. I think this is a great build order for if you are on a small map like Pit, Cliffside, Gorge, where you can get to the opponent's gold very quickly. And this is also a good matchup against civs that is HRE, Byzantine, and Knight civs such as French or Jeanne d'Arc, where you use it to push them off gold and buy you some time to either fast castle or get your feudal units out. Also great against like Malians who are trying to set up a pit mine. Though I wouldn't suggest you do this against Mongols, because Mongols, while samurai good, Mongols can just get more spearmen on the field and they will just outmass your samurai. So this won't really work on Mongols. Unless, of course, they're feudal rushing, but that can be hard to tell to risk. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to do this slow and explain what we're doing. We're going to send all villagers. I want you to notice that small thing here. I do this because I want to get my scout going. I want to get my TC going. So I'm going to send all villagers to sheep, queue up the town center, and rally it to wood, and send my scout out. Once I've done that, I will pull 2 villagers from the sheep onto the woods. I'm starting with 4 on sheep, 2 on wood. I'm rallying to wood. Once I do that, I'm going to pull a villager from food and have them start making barracks. They're going to go from the barracks to the berry bush. First villager out of TC is going to go to wood, so you're going to have 3 on food, 3 on wood. While this is happening, my scout is going to be diving the opponent's base. I need to find where their gold is. Another secondary objective is I'm trying to figure out where the gold is around them. You can be pretty aggressive on your scouting, because if you run out of sheep, you can go to berries if you need to. It's really important that you find, is there a second gold close by that they could run to? And potentially could you cut that off with samurai and make their age up even more difficult? But in this build, you're going to be making 2 samurai. You can make more if you need to. In fact, in the game I'll show you how to make more. I can also explain during that game what I did. Anyway, let's go. So now that I've hit 3 on wood, I'm now going to rally to food. I'm going to keep these 3 on wood for a while. They're going to start dropping off wood. And once they get to 50, that villager who's making the barracks is then going to make the berry bush. Up here, I'm scouting around the French base. And you're going to see the gold is right here. So once I see the gold, I'm just going to immediately start walking over back here. Rallying to food. Villager finished the barracks, is now at the berry bush. And the second I get 50 wood, I'm going to drop a house next to the berry bush. As Japan, this means I can now gather berries. So my house is next to it. So this build order is great because it takes advantage of a lot of Japan's bonuses. A lot of times when civs need to spearman rush, they have to start an opening with like 5 on wood, because you need a lot of starting wood because your spearmen require wood. But since your samurai require gold and you have 100 gold, you don't need a lot of wood. That's why you can do 3 on wood. And since your house acts as a drop-off point for food, it can be near the berries, so you have backup food if your deer run out. So once again, a lot of things going for Japan here during this Dark Age Samurai Rush. So I'm just going to keep rallying to food. First samurai is going to pop out. It's going to be a little delayed because of the house, but the more important thing is your villagers on time. So it's okay if the samurai is just a tad late. Samurai is out crossing. I'm going to queue him to attack, as you notice, so I have less things to focus on. I'm going to shift click him to the gold and then A move shift so that he is going to attack the gold without me having to pay attention. I will want to watch when he gets to the gold, because I don't want him to chase villagers into the TC and die. Once I get 60 wood, I'm going to pull a villager off food and they're going to cross because they're going to drop a tower. And these 2 samurai are going to be defending the villager as they drop that tower. A samurai is once again really great to send because there's extra melee armor, a little bit beefier. So if they pull villagers, your samurai can do a lot of damage while these villagers are trying to fight your samurai if they try to do a villager pull. Second samurai is queued. I'm still rallying to food. This was a little mistake on my part, but these villagers are now going to go and keep gathering wood. Now, what am I gathering wood for? Of course, I need the 100 for the tower, which they have. I then need 100 more wood because I'm going to need another house. I'm going to need a forge to collect gold. And the goal is once you get those 2 samurai and you've dropped the tower, you are rushing feudal. Because you don't want to stick in Dark Age much longer. You want to get to feudal as soon as possible and take advantage of the delay you're causing your opponent. Let's speed this up here a little bit. So you notice I'm rallying to food, and this is where even this practice session, my macro's a little off. Dropping the tower, samurai on the gold. So the key thing you want to do is once you get that first 50 wood, you're going to immediately pull 2 to 3 bills off food and head to gold and start gathering gold. Drop off the sheep, going to keep checking the rest of the map. Samurai is right here, burning down that mine. And then I rally a little bit to gold. And basically, the signs I'm looking for is I'm looking at how much food do I have, how much gold do I have. I already have 200 food. I'm halfway to the food I need. I'm not halfway yet to the gold I need. I need 200 gold. So noticing that, once I get the 50 wood for a house, I'm just going to send all 3 of these villagers. They're going to build a house, and then they're going to go to the gold. And I'm just trying to, as best as possible, manage my gold versus food. The reason I'm not going to give you a precise amount that you need is because, one, I'm not going to spend the time calculating that. And generally, you want to build the skill of, when I look at my resources, I adjust to see what I need. Another thing you can do is, if you get 200 gold before you get 400 food, you can just pull villagers off gold and start gathering wood before the age up. So if you do a little bit one or the other, just adjust. If you get like more food than gold, then pull a few villagers off food and start gathering wood. But I'm now 7 on gold, so I'm just rallying back to food. I'm burning down this mine. As I'm doing that, I'm asking, where could the opponent be getting gold? I see that the central gold's pretty close, so in a second, I'm going to pull the samurai off this gold and head down to immediately check and make sure they're not on the bottom gold. And if possible, push them off of it. This is a time where, if I needed to, if they had a gold very far away, I might make a 3rd samurai and send it to that gold, once again, just to try to delay them. Age up's happening. Once I get the age up amount, I leave 3 on gold. You can do 3 or 4 on gold. You want, though, 8 on wood as you're aging up. So I'm going to pull villagers off food to start my age up. And as I'm aging up, I'm going to rally till I have 8. And 8's the amount you want on wood, so you can consistently make houses, but also consistently make production. As Japan and Feudal, you're going to make a lot of samurai and anabegeisha, which is gold and food. And then you also want to add in horsemen, potentially. Horsemen are 100 food and 20 wood. So not that heavy of a wood cost. If you need, you can always add another villager to wood if need be, but you're just going to be adding pure barracks and stables again and again and again, and then rallying to food, a little bit on gold, and maybe a bit on wood. But you can sit on 8 on wood for a while early on, and you're going to use your hunts and your berries to really make sure that you have the food to do that all in. So I saw a villager going down here, so I'm going to check this gold. I'm also eventually going to check this gold over here to keep them off and push them off, make sure they don't get a lot of gold. As that's happening, what am I doing during the age up? So I'm aging up 6 to try to speed up my age up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to focus on my eco upgrades the second I age up. You notice during the age up, I'm already grabbing Tawara. And then the second I age up, I'm going to get the 2nd level Japanese wheelbarrow. And the reason being is berries there's usually a lot of berries on any map you play on. And you can use the berries as a huge food boost while you get these free farms. And that will then allow you to keep making those expensive samurai at 100 food and Anas at 60 food. And that's how you want to power that. And so I would rather focus on the eco a little bit early to allow me to make a lot of units. And then I'll get my military upgrades and things like that. Go ahead and as I'm aging up, just make another samurai because I can afford it. I'm sending my villagers to wood. At this point, I notice I accidentally have 12 because the villagers that made the Kura immediately went to the lumber camp. So I'm going to pull until they only have 8 left. I'm getting Takazaiku. Once again, huge for berry gathering. Once you upgrade that, your berries become one of the best food sources in the game, at least at the feudal level. I pop my samurai into the tower, and then I meant to get arrow slits, I forgot, but since you're getting passive stone from the forge, you can upgrade your tower with arrow slits without much of an issue. Caught him on the middle gold, so I pushed him off that. And the next logical conclusion is that they're over on this gold, so I'm going to make sure you do that. Against the real opponent, you might want to be careful. Sometimes they'll villager pull right at this moment, try to burn the tower down before you get the upgrade. So don't ever leave the tower by itself. Keep at least a samurai there, so that if they try to push it, the samurai can pop out and attack while the outpost is upgrading. One decision you can potentially make is to leave the villager that made the tower here. Maybe start collecting berries or gold, so that if they try to push the tower, you can upgrade it or like repair it. This is a little bit of investment because the villager then you have to spend 50 wood on an economic building, and then they're just gathering by themselves, but it's an option for you. Age of pips, I upgrade my samurai, and now if you look at my splits, I have 12 on food, 8 on wood. I'm going to keep most of the item wood for a while, and I have 3 on gold. I'm going to potentially add a few more to gold as I make more and more gold base units, and I want upgrades, but the heaviest thing you're going to be on is food. You're going to be on food very, very heavy because your units are expensive. At this point, the loop is pretty simple. If you're going to do feudal all in, you're just going to keep adding production. You're going to add barracks, you're going to add stables, and just go back and forth, barrack, stable, and you're just making units. And early on, you're just cutting off resources, so I would check the gold, I would try to keep them off the deer, things like that. And then as you get a big enough force, you would research siege engineering and go for a push. I would get iron under mesh first, and then get your melee upgrades, then get siege engineering, and just go for it. And what you really want to do as Japan, if you're going to go all in, is try to force your opponent into the counters that you like. So here's an example. I like starting with Ana Geisha because they're fast, they can get across the field quickly. Once they see Anas, they're going to start making archers. Even though you have a few samurai, they'll start making archers. In that case, you then flip into horsemen. That will force them into spears, and then you can go mass samurai once your food is better. Because early on, samurai are kind of expensive. So if you wait until you get more food villagers and you're on these berries and these hunts and your food's popping up, then you go into mass samurai and they will shred most things your opponent has. If your opponent is a feudal MMA civ, like HRE or English, your feudal MMA are the best in the game because you get more melee upgrades than them, and you have the deflective armor, which gives you an extra hit. So if they try to go into mass and meta arms, you just need to try to rush up all your melee upgrades, and if you can, pull some villagers to stone, get your first manor upgrade, which will then get you a bannerman, and that bannerman will just make your samurai way stronger than their MMA. So if it is an opponent that doesn't have knights, they have no real counter. Like every single thing they can do, you can counter with your own units. The one civs that you might struggle with is knight civs, because knights are just very, very good. So my suggestion is, if you're playing against a knight civ, you do this to then immediately fast castle. So as you age up, you would put 8 on wood to drop a tower. You would rush up the upgrades for that tower, and then you would go heavy on berries and make a few spearmen to cover the berries and try to just eat berries until there's too many knights, and then you back up to your sheep, and then you rush castle. And hopefully this on gold, you can use the tower to delay gold, you can use a couple samurai to delay gold elsewhere, and by the time they get back on the gold, you're aging up. And then you can make knights and go from there. So that's the example of this Dark Age Spearman build order. I'm going to go now show a game where I played to see this in action. I'm going to discuss the changes I made as the game was happening. All right, so now we're here with Lance, who is a member of my coaching Discord. I think he is a plat player, and he was nice enough to play this game against me. He's playing Zushi's Legacy. So Zushi's Legacy is an example of a civ that I would be fine with doing an all-in against, because cutting off their gold means they can't make Zugnu, and they'll struggle to rush castle. And if that's the case, you can use that to then really go in and beat them. Another thing you can always do is, if the feudal push doesn't work, you can try to just cut them off resources and then rush castle yourself. So that's always in the back pocket. So let's see this in action. So I'm going to make some early mistakes. First, I'm actually going to forget to rally my first villager onto wood, which means my first house is going to be late. Ooh. So once again, just because you have to make these minor mistakes does not mean the build order is dead. It's just something that I realized a little late. So I dive the center, dropping off wood. That's when I realized, oop, I don't have a third on the wood, so my house is going to be late, which means my first samurai is going to be a tad late. I come over on this side, and I immediately realize his food's over here and pretty exposed. So I actually had a thought here where I go, maybe I tower his food, but I decided to maintain the gold because without gold, he can't make Zugnu, or he could with taxes, but that would be really slow. So my first samurai is coming out. Also, because the gold is so far in the center, I went, okay, I know his gold's over here. I'm going to go send a samurai for that. I then noticed he has 2 golds over here. So my initial thought was, he's going to immediately pull villagers to this left, to this gold on the right, if I push left. So my second samurai is going to go to the right side here. So now I fixed my build order. Once again, I'm late. The samurai's coming out a little bit late, but it doesn't mean it won't be effective. I've now fixed my build order. I have 3 on wood. I'm just rallying to food. Villager who made the farmhouse is now just sitting on berry, so they're not wasted walking time. The second this drop-off finishes, I'm going to send a villager from food to follow this samurai to drop a tower. I'm gathering sheep on the right side. And here's where the first variation comes. Instead of sending the second samurai over here, since I had the gut feeling that he's going to potentially pull and try to rush these 2 golds, I'm just going to send my second samurai over to those golds. You're actually going to see the effect of that of this choice in a second. Unfortunately, his TC was a little close to the edge, so my samurai does take 2 hits. 3 hits? Ooh, that was really bad by me. Really bad, right? Those 3 hits took away half my health, which is brutal, and you're going to see the effect of that in a second. I should have clicked on his TC and saw, and I should have been really careful about shift clicking around the corner here. And the effects of that are going to be seen here, because now my villager is going to take this hit as well. But once again, just because mistakes happen does not mean you're going to lose. So now I'm coming to drop a tower here. I have 1 samurai. He tries to wall me out, but he's a little late. And this is where he makes a decision that potentially eases his issues, but is really expensive. He pulls 5 villagers to rush my 1 villager and my samurai. I catch this happening, and this is going to lead to a pretty heavy micro fight, where this is going to cause me at home to kind of mess up my macro a little bit. But the cost that he has to spend to do this, I think, is very, very high. So now my one problem is, if this samurai had followed, he could have potentially helped on this fight, though he might have been cut off by this wall, which would have caused him to die under TC, so actually potentially it's been bad. So this second samurai is not going over here, and I make the judgment call to make a 3rd samurai. You're going to see why in a second. So now I'm fighting his vills. His vills are running around this is damage, folks. This entire time, he has 5 villagers not gathering resources, which is massive. I have 1 that's not gathering resources. He's microing his villagers pretty well to not lose any, but this is still a huge investment. The second my samurai dies, I just pull my villager and run, and he chases with his villagers. Once again, this is a huge investment. He has now 2 villagers that are not gathering this whole time, which is really, really painful for him. I decided to make a 3rd samurai. So in the normal build order, it's 2. The reason I made a 3rd one is because he just wasted so many resources trying to fight me. And I don't think he will have the wood to make a tower, because he dropped these walls here. So in that case, I'm gonna make a 3rd samurai just to really cement this fight here and still try to get the tower up. At the same time, I pull this samurai back across here, running across the top, so that I can try to have 2 samurai over here to defend a re-tower attempt. Since this villager is so hurt, and I don't want him to get sniped by villager pull, I'm going to walk him all the way back and bring a second villager that's full health back over. Now that's expensive in a way on my part, but I felt okay I have this because my opponent just sent 5 villagers fighting, and so I felt like I can make that investment okay. I then noticed my macro's way off because I've been microing so intensely and wasn't paying attention to my wood. So I pull 4 villagers to go on gold. I rally a 5th one. Once again, because I'm like, I have 170 food, so I'm almost halfway. I have no gold because I've spent so much gold on samurai. So I'm going to go pretty heavy on gold here. My next samurai is coming back down the choke. I have my other samurai coming around the back. So I'm going to have 2 samurai on the gold here, and he cannot pull villagers against 2 samurai. I rally back to wood because in my mind I still want to get the tower, so I need 10 more wood for the tower, and I want to start just slowly gathering wood so when I age up I have some wood to potentially make another house if I need to do something like that. So now the samurais are coming in to connect. What about my scout? So with my scout, I already was worried that I saw no one on gold here, and to me that was an alarm bell, and I was like, where is he? If he's not here, is he on the central gold or is he on the far right gold? So this caused me to make another decision where I pull my scout to go check these golds. I'm going to have these samurai start attacking this mining camp, mostly so they don't run into the TC on accident. And this villager is going to drop a tower between the stone and the gold. If you can cut off 2 resources at the tower, not just gold, go for it. Really, really nice here. So now I'm rallying really heavy into gold. I realize 6 on gold's a lot, and I'm already close to getting the gold I need, so I rally back to food. And then I do another samurai. So yes, that is 4 samurai before I hit feudal. Why is that? Well, these 2 golds here are pretty exposed, and I had a feeling he's going to rush those golds now. So I'm going to make a 4th samurai to try to see if I can punish him for that. So once again, even though my original build order said 2 samurai only, I added more because of the circumstances on the ground, and I hope my explanations for why I added those samurai made sense. Scout comes through, no gold. I also know that as Zushi, he's getting passive gold, so he could age up even without the extra gold. But if he wants to make like Zugnu, or if he wants to rush castle, he needs gold somewhere. So I'm using my scout to check, no gold there. So I'm sending this samurai now all the way down to these golds. I'm macroing to castle. Since I got the gold I needed, I'm going to pull villagers off gold and leave 4. And I catch his villager coming down the side here. So I go, yep, exactly. He's trying to get the gold over here. I leave 4 on gold because you need a lot of gold when you hit feudal as Japan. You have a multiple upgrades to get, and I want to play this feudal. I feel like I've done a lot of damage, so feudal play sounds good here. So I want a lot of gold for my upgrades. I'm gonna keep 4 on gold early on, and I'm making gold units, so it feels worth it to me. Drop the Kura. I'm gonna click on Tawara in a second, and now I'm gonna start rallying to wood to get my 8 on wood. I catch him coming up here with 2 villagers, and he's gonna drop his meditation gardens up here. And my samurai is going to come here and cause a bad time. Tower finishes, and I decide to keep the villager here. Because I had, once again, the adjustment I was going to make was, since the pit, all the wood is in the back on the pit right here, I was potentially going to start dropping towers in the back and try to cut off wood using towers. So I'm actually going to keep the villager here. Instead of bringing him back. Once again, an adjustment to the plan based on the map in this case, knowing that he wants a lot of wood for Zugnu, or potentially farms if I cut him off from food completely, or his own tower, so he's gonna need a lot of wood. So I want to keep and start towering back here potentially, so I keep my villager there. Samurai comes in and catches him on the meditation gardens. Pop. He has to run away. At this point, I'm rushing my age with 7. Because I know that now that I caught his age up, he's going to age up really quickly right here. And with Zushi villagers, they build faster. So we age up literally at the same time. He rushed at the meditation gardens here, which is great for me. This is not a good meditation gardens. He's not getting anything except wood and berries, and these are his home wood and berries. So this is not great. I see him dropping the stable, which is great for me because I can just keep making samurai, or I can make spearmen. And even Anabagesha do okay against horsemen, so I felt really good about this opening. I'm going to get on wood. I'm gonna get my upgrades. I'm gonna get Taizaku in a second. I'm gonna get 8 on wood. Now, since my Dark Age was so long, I made so many samurai, I am starting to run low on sheep. But luckily, with my upgrades, I am going to have plenty on berries. Seeing the horseman, though, tells me the potential that he's gonna try to raid me. So I'm gonna make a few spearmen to sit in my wood line on my berries. Another thing I could do is, nothing I will do is I will add an extra few villagers to wood. So I'll do 10 on wood, so I can add towers. So when I see horsemen, I think I have to tower my resources if I go out on the map, because his raiding is the best way for him to get back in the game. So I'm gonna put 10 on wood. That's my small adjustment, so I can also add towers. My villagers go out to berries or deer or things like that. Once again, what I see, what's the adjustment I should make to protect my eco but still maintain my push, because I feel like I have him caught in a really bad position here. He's going to try to do this thing where he towers and gets on the gold, but it's not going to work because I got my tower close enough with arrow slits to cover that. I'm getting arrow slits on that tower. I'm going to leave this samurai here, but I'm now going to bring my scout forward to check the other gold. I am making a samurai immediately to cover this gold. I also upgraded my samurai. Once again, I don't think one samurai could stop them getting on gold if they really, really wanted to get there, but it gives me an alert so I can try to do something about it. I hit on 150 wood and immediately make a stable. I'm getting arrow defense first because I want to be fighting, and I'm guessing he's going to get Zugnu, so I want to make sure I am defending against that. I see him making a tower here, so I know that he is trying to get to this gold. Once again, I position my scout where I could see if he starts diving the gold. Samurai's going to run up here and start doing damage, and now I'm just making samurai continuously. My eco's in a pretty good spot. I got my full eco upgrades. I'm getting free farms. I'm going to get lumber upgrades soon. I'm getting arrow defense. And I'm just rallying to food. And I already have a lot of it. So I need more production. So I'm just going to keep making samurai, and I'm going to keep adding horsemen into that mix. He's in the tower, so I have to run away. He's trying to do this. Once again, feeling great. Feeling good. Make sure that as you are getting farms, you're moving villagers onto those farms. I'm guessing he's towering the gold. I run up and confirm the tower and the gold, and I back up. And I just immediately go siege engineering. Because I'm like, I have 9 on wood. I know I can just drop. Since I have I am not making units that require wood except for horsemen, I can get 200 wood pretty easily and make 1 ram. And 1 ram will take out outposts really easily. I also know since he's invested so heavily, these are 2 rams. I mean, these are 2 towers. Like his wood supply, he's made 2 towers over here. Like I know he doesn't have a lot of units. Those are towers that could have been archers, or for him Zugnu, and that's 400 wood instead into towers. So I knew he probably doesn't have a lot of units. So I'm just continuously making units. Every time I hit 150 wood, I'm adding production. Now I'm going to go into a really quick ram here because I know he doesn't have anything to defend it. Horseman raid comes. I have only 1 spear, but here's the deal. 1 spear is going to do a lot of damage to these horsemen, and I just decide to pull my villagers and fight. He knows he could have stayed here if I had no spearmen, but even 1 spearman will force him to run away because that's going to do a lot of damage while the villagers are poking. So he runs away. At this point, I'm going to put like 1 spearman with this group, 1 spearman back here, but I'm also just going to add towers whenever I can. And I just keep making units. The one miss macro is I have a lot of food, mostly because I just don't have the production to use on my food. So I'm rallying a few more to wood so I can get more production and get those towers. So once again, I'm always asking, what do I have a lot of? What do I need? My goal is to feudal push. I want to make units. What do I need to do that? And that is more production to spend my food. Because once again, you have a crazy amount of food when you get your full feudal eco upgrades. I now push his tower. He has nothing to defend it with. He has 3 horsemen. That was it. So I'm feeling pretty good about this push here. I add another, once again, barrack stable, just doing 1, 1, 1, 1. He has something to defend the tower with. And then he rushes castle. And this is great for me. Why is that great for me? Because I know he just doesn't have eco. He doesn't have the eco to make castle units. I'm sitting on this gold. He's never left this gold. He's not on this gold. So there's no way he can make enough castle units to fight me. So all I do is start making spearmen, because the best thing he can do is make knights. If he makes men-at-arms, I have enough units to kill those. He tries to push this tower. I upgrade it with fortify outpost because I have the extra stone. I pop the Vil out to heal the tower, which he notices and kills, but this is delays it enough that I'm going to get the tower upgraded. And I just start pushing his base. I'm going to dive with the horsemen because I know his villagers have to be here. And I keep my samurai in the tower, in the ram, so that if he runs at the ram with the villagers, I can just pop them out of the ram and kill the villagers. And he GG's because he has no way to make units. So I hope that build order was helpful to you. I think the biggest thing about it is reading if you feel like you can actually stop them from getting resources or not. Deciding right when you age up if you're going to rush castle or not, and committing yourself to that. Making sure you're using the resources on the map. Getting those eco upgrades first, in my opinion, which will then allow you to make a lot of units. I went pure samurai there, mostly because I saw what he had. But sometimes your food might be a little bit tougher, so doing honest first into horseman into samurai might be your better bet. But overall, I hope this is a helpful build order to you. Let me know if you have any questions or any feedback, and good luck on your games.